Right, so as we edge a bit closer to the start of the season, we're getting a bit further into the meat of the pre-season with more and more of the first team squad returning to Liverpool to meet up with Arne Slot. So we're starting to get more things to talk about. And if you bother with social media, and I strongly advise that you don't, it's impossible to navigate Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, without coming across people who are obsessed with the transfer window and are apoplectic whenever any other team signs a player, or even if a player gets linked with Liverpool, they'll find something negative to talk about. Now, the fan base are screaming for signings and they want everything right now, but Julian Ward has previously come out and said that July would be quiet and August would be busier. So, I mean, you kind of got to take that at face value and not get upset about things that aren't happening right now, because some Premier League teams have been busy in the market for sure, but like no one's really made a high-profile statement signing. Maybe, say, I don't know, a Nana to Villa at a push, but there's certainly no marquee signings out there. Man United have made 2 signings. I mean, one of them really got some Liverpool fans upset. So United have made those 2 signings, but the 2 young players who are making a massive step up, they're not established major names that are going to strike fear into the heart of the rest of the league. No, same with Man City. But in terms of like being linked with players, like today we're very strongly linked with a player in Japan international, Takefuso Kubo. Now, this didn't seem to make them much happier either, because they want us to be linked with players, but linked with the right players or players that are huge names or whatever. And I think this Kubo signing or link rumour came out of the blue. But out of all the different rumours that we've seen over the summer, this one seems to like it might actually have the most legs. Now, Japanese outlet Spanichi Annex claim that negotiations for the winger in the final stages with the players' agents already in England, and he could be available for around £55 million, with Real Madrid taking a good chunk of that for their sell-on clause when he finally made his way to Real Sociedad. Obviously, with these links, you've got to take it all with a pinch of salt, but it does seem to be gathering pace today. And the club has long needed some genuine rotation options for Mo Salah, as well as starting to prepare for life. Without him, obviously, there's the links that won't go away with Salah moving to the Middle East. But also, I think we've really kind of struggled at times when Mo Salah's been away. Africa Cup of Nations, for instance, maybe he's been injured at times, or maybe he's been out of form, or maybe he just needs to have some rotation, either missing a game or 2 or in-match rotation. And we see this happening with Diogo Jota, Cody Gakpo, Luis Diaz, all having to go at the right, none of them really kind of impressing there. Ben Doku's meant to be the kind of, the youngster who's coming through, who can maybe not challenge or maybe learn from him. Hasn't really happened. Doku obviously picked up a few injuries, but Doku is also right-footed, so he provides a totally different kind of threat when he's coming on the right-hand side. Now, Kubo is left-footed. He plays predominantly on the right wing, but he is versatile. He can play as a centre-forward, second striker. Also plays on the left wing. He's got 35 caps for Japan and 4 goals. I think, as I said, he's currently playing for Real Sociedad in Spain. Now, he joined them from Real Madrid in the summer of 2022. He had 3 years at Madrid, never played a first-team game for them, spent a lot of time out on loan. He was also a youth player at Barcelona before he returned to Japan, and he became the youngest player to both play and score in the J-League when he was just 15. Last season, he played 41 games for Real Sociedad, scoring 7 goals and getting 5 assists. Now, I think it's a promising link. I'd be happy with him coming in. It's a decent amount of money, a little bit of pressure, but the lad obviously can handle a little bit of pressure. He's meant to be fast, meant to be good on the ball, lots of trickery, good dribbler. And I think, again, like I was saying about the players going to United, it's a step up for them. This will be a step up for him, and which kind of suits that that data-driven approach to signing players that we know that we're returning to looking for players who are, 22, 23, 24, who can make that next step up, which he'll have to do. But he's doing it in an environment where he's not going to be playing every game. He can come on and hopefully he can try and take a bit of pressure off Mo Salah's shoulders and maybe inspire Mo Salah a little bit more, because I hope Mo Salah signs a contract extension, or that situation is sorted out, or at least there's a bit more clarity moving forward. So let's see what happens with that. It's gaining some traction at the moment. So let's see how that develops this week. I think the release clause is 60 million euros. So let's see what happens with that. One forward who might be on the move, though, is youngster Jadon Danns. Now, he's being linked with a loan move to Plymouth Argyle, who are, of course, managed by former England forward Wayne Rooney. Now, I think this would be a good move for Danns, and he'll probably look at the development of the likes of Conor Bradley and Jello Kwanzaa after their successful loan moves 2 seasons ago, and now they are genuine first-team Liverpool players. Now, Danns has got bags of natural ability, and in short time that we've seen him for the first team, it's like obvious how confident that he is. He just needs game time, and if he can get plenty of minutes at Plymouth, his development will come on leaps and bounds. So I hope that or a similar move is something which transpires soon, so he can kind of get himself sorted, get his head down and work hard for the next year, and we'll see where he is then. And hopefully it'd be really good to see him back at Anfield and taking that next step, because I think he's got potential and he's just such a likeable player as well. Next up, Alexis Mac Allister. It would have been easy to ignore this, but it was disappointing to hear Alexis Mac Allister at the end of last week come out and defend his Argentinian teammate Enzo Fernandez, after Fernandez, along with other Argentina players, was involved in chants against the French national team, which are clearly racist and transphobic as well. Now, some Chelsea players have criticised Fernandez, and while it might be a natural reaction for Mac Allister to defend his friend, and there is the possibility that the statement being a bit lost in translation, it's disappointing to hear people, leap into the defence of racism instead of calling it out initially. And in fairness to Fernandez, he has apologised, and the hope is that it is sincere and that it's a teachable moment for him. But I think it's fine to defend your friends, really, but if you think that it's maybe an innocent mistake or a stupid mistake, but hopefully that is also, it has the caveat that you're really calling out racism at the same time. And we didn't see that. Maybe there's, as I say, something lost in translation, or maybe it was something that was just he didn't do at the time and what didn't think about. But I don't want to dwell on it for too long, but I think Mac Allister's a likeable player. He clearly seems like a good guy, and I think maybe just being a bit more aware of how these words can come across is something that he should be thinking about in the future. So moving on, another transfer rumour. Obviously, Ederson is a player that had been linked with Liverpool for a few weeks, a bit longer actually, maybe since January. And their reported pursuit in the Atalanta player could actually depend on Celtic's decision to sell Matt O'Reilly. Now, the Reds have been linked with the Brazilian who helped Atalanta win the Europa League last season, and he admitted earlier this summer that he was actually happy at Atalanta as manager Gianpiero Gasperini looks to keep together the most successful side in the club's history. However, they've also got a plan for life without some of their key players. Atalanta are said to have made an offer in the region of around £15 million for Matt O'Reilly. However, it's claimed that Celtic are holding out for a higher fee for the club's Player of the Year. If Atlanta can agree on a deal with Celtic for O'Reilly, this could open the door for Ederson to leave the club, with Liverpool one of several top European sides reportedly interested. And although, as I said, early in the summer, he said he was happy to stay in Italy, he also said at the same time he was curious about playing in the Premier League. And finally, the Women's Premier League fixtures have just been released, with the Reds opening up their campaign on the weekend of September 21st against Leicester City in their new home at St Helens Stadium. Good luck to them. Good luck to the Reds out there in America. I'm sure there'll be more development going on this week. So hopefully we get a return to a little throwback of what happened when Xherdan Shaqiri signed for the Reds when they were last out in America and he joined them there in his trendy jeans. So let's see what happens this week, and up the Reds.